Hello and welcome to Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large Round 6 with the RB4 GT at Aston North. You're watching sim broadcasts on Twitch and YouTube on June the 14th. I'm joined in the commentary box by Eoin Harmon tonight. How you doing, Eoin?
I'm doing well, thank you, Pete, and great to see everybody on the stream and on the track.
Yeah, we've got 27 cars here today for the XL edition of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race, the 54th edition, in fact. And let's have a look at what we've got in store for you this evening. We've got a pretty packed schedule for RTFR this year, of course. 3 races every month. We're on round 6 of the XL Championship. And it's hotting up. Let's take a look at the track for tonight, though. Aston North in Live for Speed. It is a 5.2 kilometre, 3.2 mile circuit. It has just about every single type of corner you could ever want, really, Eoin, in Live for Speed. A good mixture of straights, hairpins, elevation changes, and long sweeping corners as well. And obviously the car, which we'll talk about in a minute, the RB4, pretty tricky around here, Eoin.
Yeah, the RB4 will be particularly slidey with its 4-wheel drive. If you get it on the grass, it might be the end of the world, but the rejoining could be difficult with lots of cars wanting to occupy that space. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we've got 60 minutes of qualifying as ever with RTFR, and we have about 7 minutes remaining. We'll bring you pictures of that in a moment. But yes, tonight, Eoin, we've got a 34-lap race with a 10-second mandatory pit stop at 10 past 6. It's going to be a long race tonight, and that's going to be great because we've got a bumper grid, and it's a seldom used car on its own, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't normally favour this car. I think it's more of a road-going car that races rather than a racing car for the road or anything like that. It's reasonable power, 243 brake horsepower, nothing to shake your fist at, but I suppose it's just the kind of style of driving you need to perform in it. It'll be more off-roading, I expect to see this car.
Plenty of rubber being laid down with the 4-wheel drive system, but anyway, the RB4 is good fun. So we will check it out in a bit when all the drivers are flying around the track. Eoin, what's happening on the track?
It's Sidus 1 and 2 again, but when we were discussing the session among ourselves, it was Rick Hardle by a long way, but Sidus's Unite has closed the gap to about 0.4 of a second, give or take. And I'd say it's just concentration for these guys. They'll want to be ready for the rundown to turn number 1 and just getting the last bit of preparation done. We have Race Green's Zadorus, best of the rest there, 1.1 seconds behind. World Class Lions have Yanni Catilla, aka Chiralfa, in 4th, not too far away there, and then Fat Ass completes the top 5.
Yeah, just before we came on air, Rick Cardle had a gap of 1.2 seconds over everybody else in the field, and that was with about 20 minutes to go. So, he's leagues ahead, isn't he? Only Unite within touching distance, but then, as you mentioned, 1.1 seconds off is Zadorus. So Rick Cardle, who you're watching at the moment, is in a league of his own just now, and with 5 minutes left in this session, can anybody get close to our championship leader? Eoin, speaking of the championship, let's take a look at the current standings. Leading the way is Yanni Catilla. Then it's Rick Cardle and Sidus's Unite in P3. Mandula P4, Ayub in P5, Gemini P6, Excellent P7, and I missed it, but there we are. There's the rest of the results. We've got quite a few of them. We have all of the results for you here, all the drivers down to a single point, and there are a lot of them. Not quite as many as in RTFR own because of the longer format, obviously, but still plenty of drivers entering this season. There we are, all 65 of them, down to even your teammates there, Steve Martin in 61st, with a single point. Not here tonight though, but yes, lots and lots of drivers here. Victor Veloso and Rony and Twin Cam round out the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship. So let's go back to the action and see what's going on. Yeah, while we were talking, no one seems to have managed to get close to Rick Cardle. I think Rick might manage just one more lap in this session, or a couple more laps maybe. Let's go on board with him for one, Eoin.
Yeah, this would be the penultimate lap if he can get a clean one in. So on the rundown to the first hairpin, braking as hard as he can, has to gently meet that apex and drift out. And then this would be the corkscrew if it was in the reverse, or in forwards, beg your pardon, but in reverse you have to go uphill like Eau Rouge, and then another chicane before the flat out section, and the sector 1 timing line will be waiting from near turn 6. Just such a long way it'll feel like in this car, and overtaking will certainly be plotted around here. Now he brakes for turn 6 and then straight away into number 7. Careful to avoid the grass on the inside and plenty of runoff on the outside. I'd say this is probably the most fun corner of the circuit. Braking and then straight uphill with the right-hander. Lots of steering lock there on the right-hand side, keeping it stable. And then for turn 9, sideways to the left and a dip and into the gravel for turn 10. Very aggressive cornering there, but looks great for the cameras. Into 11 and number 12 coming up now. Another terrifying descent, and then a little bump before another descent, so lots of elevation changes. He seems to have backed off though. Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, he's aborted the run. That was almost a complete lap with Rick Cardle. Maybe we can pick up with someone else in the dying laps. Who else looks like they're on a good one, Owen? Maybe we can pick up with Donny. He's in P6 right now. That's pretty decent. He's been improving all along. So there we go. Rick has run out of time. He has no more time to improve. Not that he needs to, Owen. He's leagues ahead, as I mentioned. He's almost half a second ahead. So yeah, as Donny approaches the sector where Rick Cardle aborted his run, maybe we can finish the lap here. So yeah, he's going back into the sweepers at the far side of the circuit. A little bit wide, it has to be said. He's going to cut that, and that's going to be an abort as well. So our RTFR, what are we calling this? The curse of the camera?
Yeah, something
continues.
Like that,
yeah.
There must be.
If you haven't been watching the last few rounds of RTFR, folks, seems wherever we point the cameras, people are having trouble. Hopefully that will be a trend that stops after this evening. True Alpha, Yoni Katilla, has gone up to P3, as you mentioned, but still a second off the Sidus guys. That's crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. It goes to show if he's having a second thought here, Pete. He's saying in the chat he needs the time of the race to be about an hour 15 or less, otherwise he has personal commitments to.
Well, he's going to struggle
so.
there. I think he's going to struggle. I think we're going to be going over an hour and 20, possibly, with the lap count. It's a long lap round here, so yeah, it might be difficult for Yoni to finish. But that's the problem with pickup racing. Sometimes it just doesn't work out for you, and there we are. As Cozzy enters the first of the hairpins at the back of the track, really difficult actually, these hairpins, and I can't imagine they're very easy. I mean, in a car where the power goes through all the four wheels. Yeah, again wide, and you can hear the tyres squealing on Cozzy's car. He's currently P7, which is pretty good, and he's gone into the pit lane, so we won't be able to finish the lap on board today.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, I think Ayub has withdrawn his lap as well. Might have finished in 7th. I think that's an improvement, actually. He has finished his lap.
So it looks like Rick Cardle will take the pole position. We've got Michael Malik just finishing a lap. He's in P12. Will he be able to improve on this attempt into the first of the hairpins? It looks like he's committing. Maybe we will be able to finish our complete lap of onboard footage. What do you think, Owen?
I refuse to comment, but on current inspection, it looks okay.
Yeah, I thought if we didn't talk about Cozzy, maybe he'd finish the lap, but he didn't. It looks like Michael's going to have a go at it. He's going for the final corner. Come on, Michael, do us a solid. Cross the start-finish line, be a gent. There we go, here he comes, out the final corner, and up to start-finish. Will he improve? That would be good, wouldn't it? He's 1.6 seconds off pole, and no improvement on that time, but that's okay.
This is Adoris's final throw of the dice. and it doesn't look like an improvement either. Yeah, a 2:19 is not enough.
And that rounds out everybody on the in qualifying, Owen. So we can go down the full classification before we go for a quick break. And let's have a look at the qualifying results. So Rick Cardle, as you saw, took pole in 2 minutes 16.31 for, well, 5/10 basically ahead of his teammate Unite, and then a further half a second back to True Alpha for World Class Lions. Zadoris in P4 for Race Green, another good performance for him. And the top Fragmasters driver is Fadas in P5. Iron Donny, great qualifying for him. P6 in the RB4, must be a car he fancies. Then we've got Born to Race's Ayub in P7, Kozi in P8, Mandula P9, Mimv P10, Timu Soini for World Class Lions in P11. That's pretty strong from him, but I know he likes the RB4 Owen, so I shouldn't be too surprised at his qualifying pace. Then we've got Michael that we just saw finishing his lap in P12, Redbot for Race Green P13. Rick 98, that is one of the Road Appraiser drivers there. Sorry for the encoding. P14. Then we've got Air Attack's Sean Lee, P15. Lorenzo, P16. Yari Katilla in P17. Ex Pabluski for MRC, P18. Race Greens, Rony, and Climbs round out the top 20. Then we've only got a short second page because we have 29 drivers who possibly will take the start for this one. We've got Onifus and Number together in P21 and 22. Argentina Turismo's Yara Loco, P23. Oil Burner, Rubens Barrichello, Pitlane Racer, Atian, Tallenberg, and Hachiroku round out the grid. So that's the grid set, Owen, and I think we're going to have to go for a quick break. Please come back in about 5 or so minutes, and we will do the pre-race build-up for 34 laps around AS7 Aston North in the RB4 GT. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to round number 6 of RTFR XL 2021. I'm Peter Butcher. Joining me in the commentary box, it's Eoin Harmon again for the RB4 AS7.
Yeah, tis me. So we're getting ready for the green lights. So looking forward to it now.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Let's just refresh ourselves on the qualifying session we just saw. Rick Cardle took pole in a pretty spectacular lap time of a 2:16.31. Miles ahead of anyone else. Sidus Unite in P2. True Alpha, Eoin Attila, P3. It's going to be an excellent battle between these guys. We're told that fuel should not be an issue. The drivers should be able to complete all 34 laps of the race with the fuel that they put in at the beginning. However, they do need to stop for 10 seconds, so they may choose to use that pit stop, Eoin, to refuel the car and time their pit stop. What do you think?
Yeah, if the fuel load was a guaranteed 8 or 9 seconds and you pause yourself for the remaining 2, that would make a lot of sense to me. It would be a peace of mind thing, and maybe I could get a little advantage if I was looking to overtake a few cars. I'll be lighter on fuel. But if I'm Rick Cardle or Unite, on our current pace, I'd say they can fill whatever they see fit in the tank, and they'll probably stay ahead.
Yes, so 34 laps coming up in just a few moments' time around this really awesome circuit. It's been used a bunch in the last few months. And yeah, we have drivers on the server now voting for a restart. Tyres may be an issue, and yeah, we will have to keep an eye on those, Eoin. Depends on how the drivers are driving those. Apparently the TBO challenge was 38 lap stints, so if any of the RB4 drivers were getting in on action, then yes, they would have been pretty close on the tyres. But anyway, here we are, Eoin. We're on the grid for the start.
And it is the Sidus 1 and 2 with the traditional livery of Rick Cardle to the left and a sort of Castrol Toyota with the Sidus colours to your right. So here we go, 1, 2 and 3. And away we go. Brilliant start for Rick Cardle. Unite will merge alongside. True Alpha hanging onto the coattails as well. Now Unite has the outside line on the curbs. Tries an audacious move. And Cossie is sent into a little glide. He seems to be okay.
Yeah, and as all the cars come through the chicane section, absolutely wonderful section on the first lap, it seems like we are good to go. That's great stuff on the opening lap here in RTFR XL. Round number 6, Rick Cardle has retained the lead just over his teammate, but look at that, Unite's under threat already.
Yeah, True Alpha getting that slipstream. I'd be very, very ambitious to go for the move already. He should be picking a side if he's going to go for it. Rick a little bit tentative into the exit of turn 7. 4 cars in a line, in fact 5 with Fat Ass there as well. Very, very tantalizing prospect here. And there's trouble for Jari Attila, the other world-class Lions, Attila. And he just seems to have the worst luck on these opening laps. Don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's not been great for him. We've got nothing at all to choose between the top guys. So obviously, Rick Cardle is fantastic in qualifying trim. He's proven that today. But how is he going to fare in the RB4 in race trim? Eoin Attila is a dab hand in all things RB4. So I expect him to be knocking on the door of the Sidus party at the front pretty soon. And look, he's already trying to line up Unite around the outside into the hairpins. Needs to be careful though, because Zadorus...
Oh, the space is there for Zadorus to take. And into the hairpin for turn 16, I believe that is. If it was only the flat-out section, I'd say Zadorus would have had the move done.
Yeah, we heard a little bit of scraping metal. It's common to hear that through the hairpins as everyone bunches up and you're rubbing shoulders with your fellow racing drivers. But as they head into the final corner, it will be Rick Cardle leading the first lap of the race, followed by Unite and True Alpha. They are exactly the way that they started, and that's true all the way down to at least P7 from what I can remember. So pretty good start to the race. We've got Redbot being the bravest of the drivers. He's gone into the pit lane straight away. It looks like we've got a 3-way battle into turn 1 with Mimv. There's a Mandula there.
Ayub and Mandula, yeah. That will count as an overtake for Ayub. He did come at the cost of some contact, but thankfully all the drivers were able to carry on.
Yeah, and it looks like it's getting pretty close again between True Alpha and Zadoris. As far as I can tell, that has opened up a bit. But yeah, Fatas is pretty close as well, actually, to Zadoris. These guys on the limit, and not all of them will have that much experience in recent times in the RB4. I'm trying to think whether any of these guys actually drove the RB4 in the TBO Challenge by New Dimension Racing. I don't think so. So, yeah, probably quite a new car, or a car they've not used that often, or that recently at least.
There's a remarkable gaggle of cars: Onifus, the Aeroloco, Rony, Pabluski, all together at turn 8. They haven't been separated at all since the beginning of Sector 2.
Yeah, Soini's lost a few positions from the start. He did start P11. I think Rony's gained a load, but then lost a bunch during this little battle here. He's currently 4th in this little train. It looks like Pabluski's having a bit of trouble with Haki Roku. Look, they're going to almost go side by side. You don't want to be doing that in this section. Pabluski on the outside. No, it looks like Haki Roku does the right thing and drops in behind. We've got Yoni on Unite. Oh, and there's contact between Zadoris and Yoni. So what I said about them bunching up in hairpins came true pretty quickly for those guys. Almost helped Yoni round, but in the end, no one changed positions.
Yeah, it's just the probably the acceleration of these cars. It might not be to the optimum. They are smooth, but they're not audaciously quick either. So just those agile overtakes, you're just not going to expect them as much today.
No, I'm absolutely staggered by the gap that Rick Cardle has managed to open up in only a handful of laps. We've just started lap 3 and he's already brought the gap up to almost 2 seconds, which is crazy. I mean, we've got 34 laps in this race. That is, if he keeps on at that pace, that is a massive margin over everybody else at the moment. But let's see, can Yoni find a little bit of space to Zadoris and focus on Unite? He's had contact with the car behind and he'll want to stay well away, and it looks like he has that space as we look
it's
towards the
Unite on the grass. Just didn't see it with True Alpha's camera. Unite was on the grass.
Oh, this is going to be a pass. Yeah, that cost him dearly. So he's gone very wide out of the corkscrew, the uphill chicane in this direction, and Yoni Casilla, at least for now, is through and into P2. But does Unite have a run? He does. There's contact, I think. Light? Perhaps not. That might have been in the background because we've got Fadas making a move on Zadoris. It's all happening now.
Yeah, the move was done. The move was done a bit earlier, Pete, so Fadas is 4th.
I see. So yeah, he was being attacked by the race green driver, but yeah, FM back up to P4. Been a little bit of a drought, hasn't it, in RTFR for FM?
Yeah, they've been the bridesmaids team. Unfortunately, just haven't quite had the success they deserve. Aeroloco has just overtaken Onifus for 14th. That was through the midfield section, 11 to 13. And now we're heading into the start of Sector 3 just after this next long left-hander. But it feels like from that camera angle, these cars are at snail's pace, but it is really that big of a gap for Rick Ardle. So impressive.
We're going to return to this battle that's currently involving Michael, Malek, Mimv, and Ayub. We're riding on board with Michael. The green car is Mimv, because this is going to get spicy into the final few corners. And Ayub's gone into the pit lane, so that's interesting. He doesn't want to get caught up any longer. He wants some free air, and that's fair enough. Free air is very, very valuable in this sort of long race. So he's going to be another car to come down the pit lane and take his 10-second mandatory pit stop. Ricardo leads the way from True Alpha, who got past Unite on the previous lap. Fadas also managed to find his way around Zadoris, so we've got a little bit of a shake-up in the top of the grid. Iandoni, he's still where he started, along with Kozzy following him close behind. Can he make any more places up in the early stage of this race? It looks like he's got the pace.
Yeah, very impressive run so far for Downey.
Yeah, and Zadoris has gone Zadoris. This could be another place for him. He's going to have lost a load of time there. He will go defensive and try and warn Donny off making this move, and I think Donny's already decided he doesn't want to go for it on this occasion. Maybe that was a good idea. Who knows?
Sean Lee had spotted Lorenzo also taking the rally car route in his Subaru. Just seeing now Sean Lee on the inside of Lorenzo. That should be the move done nice and simply. Like it was way back at turn number 5 where Lorenzo took to the grass and he's paid the price at turn 8.
Yeah, we just missed it, but great move, I assume, by Sean. He's up to P11. Again, it's a bit strange to see Sean in these races because he's from Singapore and it's pretty early in the morning where he's from. We've got a battle slightly further ahead of this. It's Mimv and Michael. Mimv getting very sideways and Michael looking like he's going to have a partner for the duration of this race. Pawlowski and Rony are going at it as well. We've got this train that we had before now being led by the host.
Hachiroku gets the momentum into.
Oh, and the
next one in the round.
Yeah, that was Climbs. Yeah. Pawlowski just moved over and Climbs had occupied the space. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I think. But yeah, that's going to drop the MRC driver down the order to the back of this little train. And Yari has made good progress, but remember that the drivers behind him, including Ayub, of course, are the drivers who've already made a pit stop. Redbot pitted on the first lap, and he's quite a way behind Ayub, so that's the sort of gap that you're talking about right now. Meanwhile, at the front, the gap is 3.5 seconds, Eoin. That's crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. It's only the 5th lap, and it's about 11 minutes so far in the race. Yeah, about 11 minutes played. But we have Unite trying his best to get back what he originally owned. I don't think it's going to happen just yet. So if the two cars both have the turbos whizzing, I don't think the slipstream will help as much as you'd expect. You have to have the absolute run out of turn 5 if you're going to stand a chance. But maybe turn 8 is where the move is available. But again, the positioning, Truffa has put his car, it's ideal really. Puts Unite under pressure. You can't lunge even if you wanted to.
We've lost pit lane racer from the race, but we're going to cut away. Mimv has managed to get back past Michael, and they're going to be side by side again. There seems to be a lot of slipstream effect down these straights, and it's allowing the drivers to get some moves made. Michael's gone a little bit on the attack. That's forced Mimv to the dirt. That's going to slow him down a touch. Can Michael make this move around the outside? That would be impressive. It's a long right-hand corner, this, and you need a lot of momentum to make it work, but that's a great attempt. And Mim's backed out of it, so that's worked for Michael. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's fabulous work there from Michael. Got the long game in his favour. And the battle for P2 rages on.
It does indeed.
Outside line is opened. Truelfa has given it up.
He braked. I don't know why he gave that back. It doesn't make sense. That did not make any sense to me at all. I'm not sure why he's done that. He's just given it up. It's not very Ionic Attila, but there we are.
Yeah, the 6th lap will belong to Unite for the best of the rest battle. But maybe there is something churning away in the head of Truelfa. And we now look at Hachiroku versus Rony versus Climbs.
Yeah, he's got the inside, he's got the move made, and Climbs is going to go for it again for a bit of a dive. He's already had contact with Pawlowski, who is now also retired from the race. We're down to 22 runners here in round 6 of RTFR XL 2021, and it's now Climbs versus Rony side by side down into the first corner. Rony in the brightest skin in Live for Speed on the outside, and Climbs has to bail out of it. He braked after the apex. That's never something you want to do. That means he's going to get mugged. Look at that 3 wide almost, with Yari Catella deciding to back out at the final moment. But who's that going wide?
Oh,
that's Oil Burner.
Oil Burner, yeah.
Oil Burner goes on the grass and rejoins. Yeah, there we are. Going to get passed by Ayub, who's already been in the pit lane. So Ayub's doing a great job here. He's really catching up with everybody. Climbs has another run on Rony. and he's through. Braked
Yeah,
quite
just
early
needs. Yeah, Yari has a great little look at Rony now, using the AstroTurf as best he can. Rony has to place his car, but in fact, Hachiroku is slow. Something has distracted Hachiroku, and I think he's going to lose more than one position in this sector, Pete. Look at Yari on the outside. Oh, he's distracted now by Rony. But something's bothering the blue RB4 on this lap. I can't understand what it might be just yet.
Yeah, not sure, but he's about to be under pressure from Yari. I mean, Yari's making great progress after his lap 1 incident down at the hairpin, and he's going to go for this move, I think, on the... Oh, there's more contact as the door just closes. Hashiroku's off in the grass, but that does promote... almost rejoins in front of him, but yeah, that does promote Yari to P17. Will there be a comeback? Will Rony try and get past as well? They all bunch up as they always do at this hairpin.
Yeah, I need to look at Hachiroku's ability to turn right. I think that's what's been bothering him a bit on this lap. Yeah, that looks okay with the turn 16 hairpin. Oh, he decides to pit, so sorry, that's turn 17. So Hachiroku is going to write off this lap and take his mandatory pit stop.
Yeah, he doesn't have any problems with his car. His suspension looks absolutely fine. His tyres are a bit warm, but that's about it. Rick Cardle is now leading by 6.5 seconds. This is quite a demonstration of his pace. We're not entirely sure why Yoni Katilla kind of yielded the position to Unite in the way that he did. Maybe he just felt that, you know, Unite's quicker than me. We need to take this to the end. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, Donny is up to P4. That's a move we've missed, but yeah, it happened down the straight, and he's gone deep. But there we are. He's got the pace, Owen. So I think he can get this back if he can settle into it, unless it was Fadas that made a mistake. But P5 for Donny. Zadoris has dropped like a fly because Mandula has also got past. Hashiroku has decided to leave the race, so we're down to 21 runners in this one. But what a 21 they are. We've got quite a battle up the front. When you look past Rick Cardle's just driven off into the distance with probably the largest margin, actually, that we've seen at this stage of a race in quite a while. I mean, this is quite a dominant display so far for him, especially when you consider that it's Yoni Katilla and Unite behind. Yoni's got back past Unite. We've missed something. Unite's obviously driven off the track somewhere, and Yoni's slipped back through, so that gap at the front, expect that to jump up again, Owen.
Absolutely, Pete. It's just such a frustrating moment for Unite. He knows his teammate is having the race of races at the moment up front, and having these battles is just going to worsen the effect with his ambitions to win today. So you have to re-strategize in third, see if we can get anything back. But these battles for Yerloco, Onifus, and Lorenzo, it's getting heated here. Yerloco makes a mistake out of 17. But Yerloco will have the inside for 18. So I think something for Onifus is going wrong on the left-hand corner of the front. There is a crunched bumper. But he has this slipstream to go into the attack for number 1 here. Down to second gear, 45 miles per hour. No, Yerloco has it for the moment.
Yeah, Onifus doesn't feel like representing his team by the looks of it. Fadas has got a great skin on, and Onifus has dropped it off the track. Rony's having a go at Yari, and he's got him into the corkscrew. As we just saw Onifus dropping off the track slightly. And I think it's all bunching up again. So Lorenzo, Soini, and Onifus back together down the back straight. Looks like Lorenzo's the car on the move there.
Yeah, Onifus is struggling with his cornering, similar to what we saw with Hachiroku. Again, he's doing well in the straights. It's just he can't corner the car properly. And I think Timu Soini will be preparing something if Lorenzo's going to balk Onifus for a little bit here. It could be a placebo effect. And Yargtilla and Rony and Ayub all battling each other as well.
Yeah, this is going to frustrate Ayub. He's going to want to get past these guys as soon as possible. He's made a pit stop. I don't think he would have expected to be battling the likes of Rony and Yari so early after a 10-second pit stop. But anyway, he'll want to clear these guys. He's obviously faster. But while those two are squabbling, it is going to make it quite difficult. Yari there trying to defend that place from Rony. But Ayub's going to have to find a way past at some point. Else he might consider doing a friendly push to pass. Let's see. Yeah, Rony's gone deep, and that's going to allow Abe just to slip straight up the inside. And that was quite easy, wasn't it? But Rony does have the bit of a momentum, and he may have the inside. Yeah, this is not fun when you've already done your pit stop and you want to just be in free air. You don't expect to be battling cars so soon, but that's what's happened here. And you have to play the long game sometimes.
Yeah, just spotted quickly. Ricciardo's last lap time was a 2:17.9. In comparison, it was a 2:18.7 for True Alpha and a 2:18.6 for Unite. That's massive. We've pit stops underway here. Timu Soini pits. And yeah, it's Timu Soini for the moment with a 10.37. Get up and go job.
Abe and Yari have come together at turn 1. Abe's still not managed to get past them both. He's managed to open the gap a little bit to Rony, but now he needs to chase down the world-class Lions car. Who have we just lost? We just lost Onifus. Onifus has decided to leave the race. Means we're down to 20 runners, and we only have one FM driver left, and he's currently in a battle with Donny as we cut away from that. There's action at the front, Owen. We've got Zadoris and Mandula, the teammates, going at it. Zadoris back into P6. Mandula now under threat from Kozzy a little bit, so it's all going off. And Donny's having an absolutely stunning race. He had really good pace at the beginning of the season, and I don't know whether it was a case of just not having enough practice for the rounds that we've had in the interim, but today he really is on pace in this RB4. As Mimv also times out from the server.
He was in the top 10. That's devastating.
Yeah, so Sean Lee gets promoted from 11th to 10th, and now he has to chase down Michael Malek, but Donny is in the privileged position of leading a trail of hungry cars. Falas will be a bit annoyed that he's managed to lose that one, and I'm sure he'll try and get it back. But yeah, Kozzy is the one behind the two squabbling race green teammates, and I'm sure he can smell blood as well. Rickardle is coming up to start lap 10 of 34 here at AS7 in Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large. If you want to find out about how to join into these races, the grid is always open for qualifiers for an hour before the event, and they happen every Tuesday, so feel free to head to the Live for Speed forum at lfs.net and check out the race green events section. Speaking of race green, Rony is now trying to get past Yari. Ayub's dispatched with him, and now these two are back to squabbling without Ayub involved. Again, close between the race green teammates. Neither of them wearing very green skins, unlike Rony, but there we are. Mandula electing to drive the 4 players DE skin. That skin's about as old as time, isn't it, Owen?
Absolutely, yeah. It must be from before I started playing Live for Speed in 2007. It's been there the whole time. And the slipstream for Zadoris.
Yeah, I wondered if there was going to be a little bit of teamwork going on there. Mandula clearly has the pace in the team at the moment, and Zadoris just giving a little bit of a bump down the back straight. Good teamwork. But yeah, they need to stay ahead of Kozzy, and if they're bumping each other, that is one way that they can try and achieve that. But they don't want to do it if they're slowing each other down. But it doesn't look like they are, because Falas is right there. He's gone wide as well.
Oh no.
Yeah, I reckon Mandula's got that one sealed. Maybe Zadoris as well. Really weird line that from Falas, and it's going to split them actually. So no more team stuff happening there for race green for a while. Mandula promoted to P5 thanks to Falas just taking a longer route around the hairpin. Now he's under threat.
Taking a longer route for the next corner as well. Zadoris on the outside, he uses as much of the spare tarmac as he can.
Oh, that's going to hurt. I mean, Falas is an experienced racer, and he's just been done around the outside. Just needs to tighten his lines up around here. the RB4's got enough grip, or has it? I mean, he's gone wide again. I don't know what he's doing. He's just bleeding positions here. That's Cozzy who's now going to have a sniff.
Those front
And
tires
he's hooked the curb. Yeah, this is going from bad to worse for Fragmasters.
They're in that ugly shade of green. It would be like the grass on the outside, just not a very pleasant color. And
not only is Cozzy going through, but Michael Malik's gone through. So Fadas, after battling with in the lead, has decided he's had enough. He's in the pit lane. I wonder what he's going to do here. Maybe he's just going to have a bit of a reset and think about what to do, because yeah, his tires aren't great. He's lost a load of places. Let's see if he changes tires. He has changed tires and he's not put any fuel in, so he's going to time that himself. Let's see how we go. No, sorry. So Fatas didn't change tires. Who was it who changed tires?
Iron Donny.
I see. So Donny changed his tires and no fuel. And that's why he is out ahead again of Fadas, because Fadas didn't change his tires. So yeah, Donny suffered with a little bit of a longer pit stop, and he rejoins in a battle with Lorenzo in that Subaru World Rally.
Yeah, it's got the V Rally number plate, so must be from the good old days of PlayStation 2.
There we are. Donny rejoins in P10. Fadas just behind in P12. So yeah, Donny's lost a load of time in the pit lane, but only because he's gone for a second. Some more work on the car. We've got Michael side by side with Zadoris into the hairpin, and Michael seems to have that under wraps for now. But yeah, he's making good progress as well. He's somehow managed to get past. Who is that? He's got past both the guys behind him. In fact, obviously, as we lose Yaroloco from the race, Yaroloco's decided to end his afternoon. Here comes Cozzy on Zadoris, and he try and get past. Zadoris has been separated a little bit from his teammate here. It all started when Fadas made the move, and well, he's now going backwards, isn't he?
Yeah, this is a troubling few minutes for Zadoris. Michael Malik has definitely brought along his A game on this quarter of the race.
Yeah, with 11 laps gone, Ricciardo will be crossing the line if he hasn't already. Yeah, there he goes across the line to start lap 12. We are down to 18 drivers. Simi Soini currently running around at the back, having qualified P11. He has stopped though, remember, but a number of drivers have withdrawn from the race, and yep, he's currently in P18. So Ricciardo leads the way from True Alpha by a gap of nearly 10 seconds after, well, only just over a third of the race. Well, actually, just under. We've only just started lap 12. Sidus Unite still close in behind, but after Yoni pretty much gave Unite the position back, Unite made a mistake somewhere, and that gap's been opening very gradually since then. Mandula's up to P4. He's in a battle with Michael Malik, as you can see. Michael is on pace. Don't know where he's found this from. Michael is he's quick, but we don't normally see him pushing, for a step off the podium in RTFR, do we?
No, this is certainly a huge run of form here for Michael. We don't get to celebrate him as a contender, but this is definitely a great section of track for him. He's doing very well.
Yeah, Mandula's run wide.
Yeah, I was just going to say very quickly, Ricciardo, the fastest lap of 2:17.4 on that last lap. Mandula is in the 2-minute 20s or thereabouts.
Yeah, so various drivers struggling with various problems at this stage of the race, of course, because all the tyres are coming up to heat peak. It does look like Mandula is struggling. That's way too easy of a move that Michael's just pulled off there. Mandula's fronts are burning hot. So yeah, Michael has balanced the push versus stick around at the in the mid pack at the beginning of this race. He's just paced himself a lot better than Mandula has, as we have Oil Burner dropping down the order slightly. He's now with Red Bot at the hairpin. But yeah, this is an absolutely stunning drive so far from Ricciardo. Absolutely has everything under control just now. And Yoni Katilla and Unite have absolutely nothing to say in response at the moment to the driver who's currently P2 in the championship. Obviously, Yoni is leading it at this stage. Not sure whether There are enough points in the gap for it to change if it does finish like this. But anyway, these two currently in the wrong order in the championship. And we will see how Yoni's second part of the race goes. At the moment, it doesn't look like he has anything to say.
True Alpha has been discussing the European Championships. He's been saying, I need to put on the second monitor so I can watch the football. And he's got a little bit of a finger wagging from the chatbot saying, no useless chatting. So if he can watch football and race to this high standard, I doff my cap to him.
Well, I don't know. I would say that a 10.5-second gap to Rick is enough reason to turn the television off. But there we are. Maybe that's why everybody's dropping down the order. Maybe Mandula's tires are fine and he's just watching the TV. I don't know. Anyway, Kozzy's managed to get Zadoris. Zadoris has gone massively wide on the top of the corkscrew onto the grass, and that's let Kozzy get a pretty healthy gap, and that's allowed Sean Lee to close up. Sean Lee, of course, running the Layout Racing League in Live for Speed, the promoter of the series, in fact, giving the flashes to Zadoris, going for a bit of a lunge there. Ayub is trying to get past Lorenzo on the back straight. And this is Ayub just carving his way back through the field after his very early pit stop in the race. Didn't really work out. He got caught up in a battle with Yari Katilla and Ronnie for a while. But now he's found a little bit of clear air, as long as Lorenzo doesn't hold him up too much. Zadoris must be struggling as well. It looks like Race Green are a little bit struggling with this one. Sean really has closed up to the back. Sean driving with Mouse as ever. And he's stuck his nose in pretty early. He's going to try around the outside of this corner, so he sets himself up for this long left. But it's not going to be enough. He'll be on the outside for the hairpin. Oh, look at the rubber that Zadoris laid there.
Oh.
Absolutely ruined those tyres. And wow, another driver that's able to pull off a pretty easy move. Zadoris nearly losing the car there. These guys just, I maybe haven't prepared their setups enough for the challenge of the RB4 around AS7. But there we are. Sean Lee up to P7. That's a pretty good start to his race. I wonder if Zadoris is going to come in the pit. Yes, he is. Will it be to change tyres? Probably.
Yeah, it must be. There's still about 60% of the race to go. And if you don't change tyres, you have no chance. No,
well, he hasn't changed his tyres. So
that's courage.
No tyres and no fuel. Just 10 seconds stop and go. So, yeah, Zadoris' afternoon is going to be pretty difficult until he gets out of Heat Peak. Here's Donny. He is P8 after his pit stop. And I believe he is the highest placed driver who has already stopped. So that's pretty great for him. He's going to be setting the standard. He did change his tyres. So he's on fresh rubber. Let's see. He was on pretty good pace on the rubber that he had on. Obviously, he managed to get himself way up the order. So let's see if he has a similar pace again on fresh rubber. Maybe he just doesn't want to go too deep on one set of tyres. And that is absolutely fine. It works for him. Abe's on a charge. He's caught climbs. The CCR driver ahead. Let's see how easy this is. It seems like a lot of people are struggling with this. And you'll see maybe climbs not so much. He actually got that pretty nicely hooked up out of there, but maybe he will struggle on the infield climbs, maybe just lacking that raw pace to be able to keep Abe behind. But yeah, another challenge for Abe, carving his way back through. That's always the disadvantage, actually. You know, you just don't know the pace of the other drivers in a race like this. The RB4 is really difficult to drive for a long time unless you've got the perfect setup for the track. And if you box early, you don't know who you're going to come into contact with.
Yeah, that's definitely a great observation. Ayub, bearing in mind how many entries there were at the start, he thought get in early and see what happens. But maybe he could have stayed out a little longer, knowing that only 18 cars would survive 14 laps so far.
Yeah, Unite, who is competing in the Ferrari Esports Championship, is not going to be happy with P3, especially if he's being taunted by the fact that Yoni Katilla is spending more time looking at his television than the racetrack. So I want Unite I just want to see him catch back up to Yoni and get a battle on again. He's given that position away on a couple of occasions. Let's see if he can get it back. He's driving the old Yes Motorsport skin. There's enough pink on that to pretty much be a Silas skin, I guess. But anyway, yep.
He's got about a second's deficit. Yeah, 1.3 seconds to Yanni Katilla. I'd say in these next few laps, if he just gets the head down, he could get back to where he wants to be and battle for second place.
Yeah, we'd love to see it, a battle for second. It isn't like we're going to be getting a battle for the lead unless Rick Cardle decides to double his pit stop time. He could pit now and be comfortably in the lead, regardless of what happens after the stops. So Michael Malek doing a solid job in P4. Of course, we need to see when Michael decides to come in the pit lane, because we don't know where he's going to come out in relation to Ian Donny, who is in P8 at the moment, and the highest of the drivers who has already stopped. Cozzy's looking pretty solid. He's currently just behind Mandula, running a pretty stable race right now. But when you look at these drivers and you see that they are 30 seconds behind the leaders, that just shows you that even though they're pushing flat out, Rick Cardle has absolutely nailed this combo. Whatever setup he's got on, whatever training he's done is paying off. And here he comes to start finish Eoin to start lap 16 of this one.
Yeah, I think the rules of Ronnie's Tuesday Fun Race is if you've picked a combo car and track 3 times, you're not allowed to pick it anymore. So the second place driver has the priority. That's the strength that Rick Cardle has possessed so far. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the next portion of the race, since he's been so dominant. Ayub and Climbs remain the closest pairing on the circuit, still 10th and 11th.
Yeah, the nose to tail. I was just looking over the results of the Race Greens all-wheel drive Winter Series. I don't know if you've mentioned this already, Eoin, but yeah, Rick Cardle won that. It was an RB4 and FXR championship run from January to March by Race Green this year. Sidus is Rick Cardle won it. Then it was Race Green's Zadoris, who's really handy in the off-road sort of races. If you ever come on into a race with Zadoris in the off-road, you've got to bring your A game, or else you're going to lose horribly. He is very talented at rallycross. And then Last Lap Motorsports Sobius actually came third in that championship. Caradis Motojutis.
Yeah, I actually didn't mention that. I just gave it a check to say I read it. I didn't speak on the broadcast.
Yeah, Tilo Falkenberg's been busy this week putting together all of our stats ahead of RTFR, and we can thank Rony for that, because he does keep a meticulous notebook, doesn't he, of all the goings-on in RTFR. It is somewhat of a diary that he keeps with every stat you could possibly want of your race series, and that's why we love RTFR. It's been a very long-running series. This is the 54th edition of the XL combination of the XL format, which runs every month, so you can work out how many years that's been going on for. And then you've got all the other series that he's running. He's got RTFR, the full fat edition, running every 2 weeks, as well as the Stahl, which is kicking off, or has kicked off in fact, and you can find out all about that on the LFS calendar on the LFS website. Here we are, Mandula having to defend hard from Cozzy now. Cozzy really has been closing that gap up, and yeah, we're going to have some excitement, because Sean Lee, we know how exciting Sean Lee can be to watch sometimes. He's catching up to this battle as well, so maybe a 3-way fight for 5th in this one.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But it's still Ayub and Climbs. But Ayub looks to have the chance that he's been seeking all this time. If he just gets the exit of the final corner correct,
Yeah,
he
he's
will
got
have
it.
that 10th place, and he does.
Good stuff from Abe. He needs to focus ahead now. He's got another chunk of gap, but look at the gap to Donny. He's still got Falas in the way, and that is a pretty sizable gap now. Nearly 10 seconds separating him and Donny, who probably will be his closest competition. Falas actually has also pitted, so yeah, let's see if Abe can catch up to Falas. Obviously, Falas pitted a lot later in the race, and we know that at some point Falas will struggle again on his setup, Owen, because he didn't complete at least half the race before he stopped. In fact, halfway has only just appeared, pretty much at the end of this lap.
Yeah, he'll have to use the clear track he has at the moment. His lead over Ayoub is 2.69 seconds, and he'll need to maintain that, even if he is getting dabbles of the grass on the outside.
Yeah, Cozzy is right on the rear of Mandula now. This is going to be spicy as we head down into the final sector of the lap. An absolutely brilliant section in any car in Live for Speed. It is an absolutely genius track, this, featuring corners from, well, any sort of corner that you'd want. Off camber, twisting, fast sections, hairpins, a corkscrew. It's got everything. It's fantastic, which is why it's used so much, especially in endurance racing, because you need to be a well-rounded driver to be fast at AS7. Unite's gone into pit lane and he's not done any work, so he's going to try and time this pit stop. Unite normally nails his pit stops, but I don't want to jinx it. And there he goes.
Yes.
10.04. That's incredible how quick that was and how well timed, but there we are. Cozzy's also gone in the pits because he's no longer battling with Mandula. There he is. So he's sick of following Mandula, and he's put some fuel in, so he was a little bit lighter, Owen, which might explain a little bit his pace.
Yeah, that's interesting strategy if indeed he went light. Michael Malik is promoted to third, slightly ahead of Unite, but he'll be pleased that he didn't get swallowed up by Mandula or Sean Lee. So I'd say that's a successful 10.04 seconds pit stop. So Michael Malik doing a very, very impressive job here. Just needs to get the head down, and if Unite battles him, if he can hold him up, that would be fantastic. But if he lets him go and just worries about his own race, that's great as well. We had Yarkitella pitting.
Yep,
for tires. Stop here. For tires, was it?
A decent one. And fuel, yeah, both.
Oh, both.
We've got Fadas here, P9 currently. He's coming under threat from Ayoub. So Ayoub has managed to close that gap insanely quickly, actually. I didn't think he'd get it done that quickly. So Fadas maybe already struggling a little bit on those tyres, those new tyres that he only put on a few laps ago. We'll have to have a look at that. But there we are. Ayoub on fine form, up to P9. And he's going to have to do a little bit of defending because Fadas is stating his intent on the outside. But I think he's got that wrapped up. I think Ayoub's pace is just really, really decent today. And the next car up the road for him will be Cozzy.
Yeah, Fadas, credit to him. He's fighting tooth and nail as best he can. We've seen him struggle at turn 8 the most out of anybody still in the race. But that last time was a lot better. Attacking the 12th corner now. Looks good to me. Yeah, he's up to 90 miles an hour, fourth gear. And we're just, point of view of Cozzy here. With the battlers behind, ready to brake for turn 16.
Yeah, Fadas was doing something weird with the throttle there. He really is struggling a little bit, I think, with this setup. Maybe he's going on and off the power just to try and keep it going around the corner. We've got Mandula in the pits. That's allowed Sean Lee to go past. Mandula's just putting fuel in that car, no tyres or anything. He seems to be happy. He wasn't that happy, though, because there were a couple of cars who were finding it a little bit easy to get past. But there we are. Donny has, in fact, got back past Mandula. So that's showing that even though Donny pitted a long time ago, that strategy seems to be working pretty well, Owen.
Yeah, he's definitely got a point to prove with that strategy.
He's already out of turn 1, so that's great.
Yeah.
He's going to be quite high up come the end of this race. Just depends when everybody else decides to box and how much free air they get. Lorenzo's coming to pit lane as well. He is in P15, but he'll probably lose a few places. He hasn't gone for fuel. He's just gone for tyres. And look at the lead now. A quarter of a minute. 15 seconds separates Rick Cardle from Yoni Gatilla, who isn't actually here. He is watching television.
Well, the kickoff for France v Germany is a few minutes away, but by no means should you leave this stream. It's going to be quite the battle for at least third place, so stay hyped for that one at least.
Yeah, Michael Malek doing a solid job. 34 seconds off the lead, but yeah, if he keeps up his pace, he'll be able to gap anybody else who's already been in the pits, as long as his tyres are good. Here he comes into the final set of hairpins on this lap. These are a seriously difficult set of corners to get right consistently in LFS, especially because of the sharp curbs you got on the edge there. We've got Mandula coming under pressure again from Kozzy, his best friend in this race by the looks of it. And yeah, it's getting close in the midfield. It looks like Ayoub is going to be trying to get past as well. It's all going to go off here in a minute.
Yeah, you've got to find that right braking point as you're turning left for 3 or 4 seconds, and then you must release the steering and then hit the brakes just before turn 16.
Well, yeah, Ayoub hit the back of Kozzy twice in that one corner. Kozzy riding the curb a little bit there, and you'll need to find a way round that doesn't involve bouncing off the back of that Live for Speed NL skin. So look at that, you've got the really old LFS NL livery chasing the 4 Players DE livery. But here we go up to start finish, riding on the nose of Ayoub. I wonder if Kozzy is going to use this opportunity to send one on Mandula, as we have climbs in the pit lane with fuel going in that car only, no tyres. Mandula's gone a bit deep. Ayoub had to get on the brakes again because Kozzy swung across his nose. But yeah, this is going to get pretty tight, and it might even allow Fatal Fadas to get involved in this one again. Mandula goes wide onto the grass, and so does everybody else behind. Ayoub went wide, Fadas went wide, and here comes Kozzy. He'll be happy to see the guys in his rear view spitting up some grass, because that will give him some time, but he's cut the nose off Mandula.
Oh,
that was really rude. That was really rude. Mandula's gone into the gravel and hit the tyres. That was really rude of him. He just cut him off, and Mandula had nowhere to go, and that's even released his teammates, so that's a pity. Mandula drops out of the top 10 with that one. So yeah, Kozzy, not the cleanest overtake, mate.
Those front tires are very spoiled now, so that pit stop, he'll be feeling the pain now if he has to make a second stop.
Yeah, Ayoub would have watched that move and would be thinking, oh dear, I've got to get past Kozzy at some point. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think Kozzy did it deliberately. I think he thought he was passed, and it just wasn't. There was nowhere for Mandula to go at that point, and he just pushed him off the road. So there we go. Ayoub was one of the first drivers to pit, actually. Him and Redbot pitted very early on in the first couple of laps, and he's managed to make his way up to P8, but he has to get past Kozzy and chase down Donny if he wants to be the top of the drivers who have already pitted. Here he goes. He's going to try and line him up into the final couple of hairpins. Sean's in the pit lane just ahead of these guys. I wonder if he'll be out ahead of them. Probably not. Maybe. Could be. It was going to be close. He's just pulled away from his box now. Donny's managed to get through. There he goes. So Donny still is the highest placed driver who's stopped. But it's going to be close between Sean and Kozzy as they come across start-finish. So let's keep an eye of this. He's out ahead, and actually by quite a margin. He was backed out of a move into turn 1, Owen, and they're going to head towards the corkscrew. I wonder if Ayoub's going to go wide, as we saw him do last lap.
I certainly hope not, Pete. But if he's going to get an attack on Kozzy, I think turn 6 is the place to do it. on board now with Ayub.
Yeah, did you see that? The brake lights of Cozzy flashing there. Wasn't happy with the line he took, and he's still managed to get a bit of a break on Ayub. Ayub just took it a little bit too aggressively, and he's gone wide. But there we are. This is going to be less trivial for Ayub than maybe some of the other overtakes he's done, because Cozzy is quick at the moment, and he has a bit of aggression in his blood, it seems. So let's have a look. Can Ayub catch and overtake Cozzy anytime soon? Ricciardo now leading by nearly 17 seconds as he comes around to complete lap 21. With this next lap, we'll be well into the final third of the race. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, nearly 17 seconds the gap at the line to True Alpha, Ioni Katila, who may or may not be able to finish the race. Depends on how interesting the football gets for him. Michael Malik then may be promoted into a higher position, but it's Unite who has already stopped, who is chasing him down, trying to get that podium back on the track.
Yeah, Michael Malik continuing his long stint. It's been fairly spotless for him so far. No complaints. En route to a third place before pit stop. So if he can just keep that gap alive over Unite, he'll be very pleased indeed.
Well, I don't know if Yoni can hear us, but there's been an incident in Munich in the football, so maybe that match won't even go ahead. So maybe he doesn't have to disappear. Heard it's quite a serious incident, so hopefully everybody's okay there. But yeah, Michael Malik is doing a solid job in P3 at the moment.
Rony and Timu Soini are close together, 13th and 14th. It's Timu who wants to gain that position as quickly as he can. Oh, there we go. And the run down to turn number 1 coming up. Rony should still have the... yeah, definitely on that camera angle was closer on the hairpins. So we'll see if this race green tower, like 10th through 13th, are all race greens. So Timu will do his best to attack. And through turns 4 and 5, yeah, all good there. So Rony should be happy enough for the moment.
Every time I go on board with Rony, I swear my room gets brighter. Anyway, it is going down that gap between those two extremely experienced drivers in LFS. Very clean, very fair, and just here to enjoy themselves. So what we like to see. Someone who's not going to be enjoying his time as much this evening is Unite, unless he decides to get into a little bit of a fight with Michael. Michael, of course, yet to stop. But yeah, Unite has stopped, and it will be interesting to see where he comes out with True Alpha when he decides to pit. They are relatively close on pace, so it could be close for P2, even if Yoni does decide to stay. Looks like Soini managed to get past Rony. We saw Rony kicking up some dust there.
Unfortunately, I missed that one.
Doing the sweepers, he's just gone off. That's lets Soini through. Zadorus went right wide at the second hairpin, and that's allowed Mandula back through. Picked up on that one a bit late, but onto the home straight they come, and Mandula is back in the top 10 after being rudely knocked off by this car, Cozzy, who's doing a pretty good job, Owen, of keeping ahead of Ayub.
Certainly, yeah, Cozzy settled down these last few laps. Not intimidated by Ayub's strong running so far. And Sean Lee, if we can just see... Oh yeah, Sean goes wide a little bit out of turn 5. So it's not inconceivable that Cozzy will be battling away with AirTac Newsroom's Sean Lee before too long. Oh, it's very conceivable now. What is going on? Sean is having a terrible time out of Sector 1 into Sector 2. That gap has shrunk dramatically.
Yeah, Sean's tyres. That's what's happening. He's got an issue on his fronts, as have quite a few of the drivers in this race. But you're going to see through these sweepers that this gap is just going to come plummeting down because Cozzy has got so much. His car is just so much more dialed in at this point in the race. Cozzy's even managed to gap Ayub a little bit. Just going to cut away from that for a moment because Climbs has got a run on Lorenzo, Cozzy's teammate, and it looks like he's going to make that move, is he? Or maybe they'll go side by side. I need to cut away again because Eoin's been in the pits, and that means he will rejoin somewhere, hopefully around Unite. Unite's only just coming around the final corner, so no, he has got out well clear of his rival in the race.
Yeah. As the worst case scenario for Unite, 100%. He's stuck behind a very calm and composed driver today. But speaking of the opposite, Jari Katila will be frantically trying to get by this Subaru of Lorenzo's. It's not going to happen quite yet. The lateral grip needs to stay true for Lorenzo, but one more misstep and the overtaking will become reality. I think he's held on just fine though. Yeah, Climbs, if anything, will be getting away now. Good exit.
At the end of Rick Cardle's lap, it will be 10 to go here at Aston North in the RB4 for round 6 of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race XL 2021. Currently 18 drivers remain, and Oil Burner, the only car, has been lapped at this point, but I'm sure there's going to be more. Rick Cardle's pace is absolutely unbelievable. He hasn't stopped yet, but the gap is 38 seconds, so if he was to pit, he would come out around 15 to 20 seconds ahead of anybody else, and that is domination if I ever saw it. We're watching Climbs, who's been in battles all race long with Lorenzo and Rony, as we just cut to him going off the track. But yes, Jari Katila has been in the pit lane, and Unite is nowhere near him, actually. So Unite having to, well, he's just been dropping off slowly. Joni's been putting in really solid laps. But everybody so far has done a legal pit stop that we know of. They have to do at least 10 seconds in the box before driving off. They don't have to do any work. They don't have to change tyres. They don't have to repair damage. They don't have to put any fuel in. They just have to stop for 10 seconds, as we've got Jari Katila for World Class Lines having a look again at Lorenzo. Lorenzo brakes pretty late and keeps that position for now.
Yeah, he didn't compromise his line into 7, Pete. But despite that, Jari has another slipstream opportunity. He hugs the inside. Michael Malik finally makes his pit stop, but the understeer is going to cost Lorenzo. And the contact is severe. Lorenzo into that tricolore tire barrier.
I think, as you'd like to say, Eoin, I think he was slapped.
Yeah, it was a slap.
Absolute slap there. Michael Malik leaves the pits. Where's he going to come out? He comes out in P5, just ahead of Sean. So pretty great stint that for Michael. He's certainly got the pace. More importantly, Donny is miles ahead. He has absolutely nailed his strategy today, and he will be probably best of the rest at this point. Unite obviously has already pitted, and yeah, Donny with a pretty decent strategy. If he can get those tyres to the end, he'll be pretty happy with that. But there we are. Michael's not too far behind him.
Yeah, not the end of the world for Michael by any stretch, but yeah, we have to salute Donny's performance today. As things stand, that's a great run from him, and he's put in a good first split as well. But we'll look now at the race greens. Zadorus is behind Redbot. Anybody familiar with that battle? It'd be great to hear how that happened. Or maybe there's your answer in plain Technicolor there. Zadorus getting wide at turn 5. Redbot will have about 0.4 of a second over Zadorus in that last sector.
We haven't seen much of Rick Cardle on the cameras today, but there he is in his yellow and pink and white. Sidus RB4 with the Dutch flag on the roof as he comes around to start lap 26 of 34. And it's going to be quite a wait before you see anyone else crossing start finish because he hasn't pitted yet. And Rony is 40 seconds behind, coming around the final corner in just a few moments' time. Then it's Unite, the last of the top three who've been on, a pace that is superior to anyone behind today, but full credit to Ricciardo for being just a step above. Donny, he's put in a stellar performance. He is in a direct battle with Michael Malik now, though, and Michael equally has been on form today. I believe he's the sole remaining of our Czech contingent in the race.
Yeah, Oil Burner is going to be pulling aside to allow these two through under blue flags. So it's been a tough day for Oil Burner, but there will be some points to take home today. So yeah, it's just the other likes of Lorenzo and Yargtilla might be caught by Ricciardo before time runs out. I wouldn't count on it just yet.
Yeah, as you can see by the timing tower, the gaps are pretty big across the field, and yeah, we have still plenty of laps to go. So will Ricciardo start to eat his way through the back markers, I wonder? Zadorius has been in the pit lane again, so clearly just really struggling with that setup. Front tyres again being changed on that car.
Yeah,
well, fair play for sticking in the race, you know.
Absolutely, Pete. But there might be a post-mortem for the race green team. What on earth happened to them today? They'll have to double check these setups if it is indeed a problem, because no one else has had to stop twice. Sean, Lee, Cossie, and Ayub are not a million miles away from each other. It's not close enough just yet to get the attention, but certainly Ayub is doing his level best to overtake Cossie. He's been stuck behind them since, let's say, lap 20 or thereabouts. It's been a long haul for these two. Sean Lee will be the next to catch Oil Burner whenever the time is right to wave the blue flags. That will be what will happen. Good sector here, 13, 14, and now 15 for Cossie. He's gaining a little on Sean, braking late, but he's picked the wrong line, I think, there. That was a rather arrow-shaped dive. He should have been a bit smoother.
Yeah, he's done that before in this race, if you remember back. He's been going for some moves a little bit off the book. But there we are. He's going to go again. He's going to try and line up Sean again. Sean will be well aware he's there, and he'll be well aware that he's been slowly eating away at his lap times as well, as Ricciardo continues to open that gap. It's nearly 40 seconds, and he has yet to stop, remember, but he's going to rejoin miles ahead of everybody. Rony is the only other car yet to stop, but Rony's down in 13th, so if he stops, he's likely to lose some places rather than gain any. And, well, Ricciardo won't gain any places. He also won't lose any places unless he does something horribly wrong. We're still watching Cossie, and it does look like Sean Lee is going to have to navigate our back marker, Oil Burner, at some point. And hopefully that will happen on the back straight. Yep, Oil Burner pulls well out of the way and lets Sean through. Sean gives him the customary flash of the hazards, peep of the horn to say thank you very much. Very nice of him. And Cossie and Abe follow through and resume the chase.
Yeah, I think Oil Burner is a name new to me, so it's just a matter of finishing the race, and that will be a job well done. And hopefully we will see Oil Burner again in future.
Yeah, a few new names in qualifying who didn't take to the grid, but a couple of them did, and we're happy to have them here. If you want to join the grid for RTFR XL, you can find out all of the details in the Race Green Events section of the Live for Speed forum at lfs.net.
New fastest lap for Ricciardo yet again. In fact, it's a 2 minutes 16.89, and that will be not a million miles away from qualifying pace. as
No,
his fuel
qualifying
and
was in at
tires
16.
wear down a bit. Yeah. He thanks Lorenzo for letting him through under your blue flags. The podium battle looks to be set in stone, but maybe Donny and Michael Malik could have a scrap for fourth.
Yeah, I definitely think this since the pit stop for Michael, as Donny runs very wide there, he's starting to maybe get psyched out by his rear view mirror as Johnny sets a PB in the pursuit of Rick Cardle, but it's completely futile at this point of the race. He should have been on that pace from the beginning if he wanted to shine a light to Rick Cardle. But here we are. We're on board with Michael Malik, the Czech driver for Master Race Car. He is chasing down Donny for iron. Donny's been pretty strong this season. He had a good opening to the season. He was a little bit caught adrift in the middle, in the mid pack during some of the races in the interim. But at the moment, he's holding on to P4. And with 7 laps remaining in this race, including this one, he needs to just hold on a little bit more if he wants all those points.
Yeah, that's the name of the game for Donny. And good opening split for him. And his exit out of turn 7 looks fine. Uses all that AstroTurf. So I'd say Michael Malik is eager to have a real scrap here, a duel.
Yeah. I mean, at this point of the race, it does look like Michael is able to keep those lines tighter for sure. In a couple of places we've seen, and there again, Donny just not able to get to these apexes, and there took too much apex, and Michael is catching him hand over fist. So he needs to absolutely iron those out, or else he's going to be passed by Michael quite quickly. That gap has come down significantly in this lap.
They'll be side by side into 15, maybe.
Yeah, great little switchback there from Michael, avoiding any contact. He has to back out of this one though, unless he decides to send one. It's not really like Michael to do a throw caution to the wind dive, but there we are. Maybe could have held it around the outside, but there we are, choosing to stay behind. As you can see there, the battle in the background, Eoin, is getting pretty intense as well.
Yeah, still no way through for Ayoub. He's stuck on Cossie, but Cossie could in fact take Sean Lee's place.
Yeah, we're watching this battle for P4 at the moment, and Donny is doing just enough to stay ahead, but only just enough. He was all over the curbs, and Michael Malik can sniff P4. Not just sniff, I think he's touched it 1 or 2 times, but here we go.
Yeah, I do think Donny is most comfortable in Sector 1, but then the 12, 13, 14 kind of corners were throwing him off a huge amount.
Yeah, you can definitely
watch him now.
Yeah, that Michael lifted as he went up the chicane, and that let Donny pull away even more. So yeah, you're right, Donny a little bit more confident up the corkscrew. Maybe Michael has learnt from previous attempts that it's a little bit risky to go flat up the chicane, up the corkscrew, but here we go. He gains massively on the brakes. Donny is using a lot more of the track, but he actually got a pretty decent exit. So again, Michael needs to regroup and try and find out where Donny is weakest in order to find his way through. But right now, he has quite a big gap to close again.
Still Cossie defending from Ayoub. I think it's as close as it's been in their entire saga. Again, into corners 9 and 10. I find these really difficult when I drive this Aston reverse layout. And Cossie still seems to have the state of mind to remain relaxed as best he can. I think this is a one-way traffic portion of the circuit. No overtaking really possible here.
Though we have seen it this race. We've seen some drivers going for it, which is a little unusual. But again, another driver who just needs to tighten his lines up. It's Cossie now under threat from Ayoub, as Sean also goes a little bit wide. Is this the move?
Oh, that was Cossie using an arrowhead.
Yeah.
Racing line again near triangle. Or it should be a smooth
Super defensive.
circle.
We've got a battle further ahead. It's we've got to stick with this one, I think, because Michael is trying to get around the outside of Donny. That's not going to work, surely, in the final corner. He'll pull back into the slipstream and maybe have a send down into turn one. The Kozi Ayub battle's going off as well, but it's all happening at this stage of the race. Michael can smell this position. He really wants it. He's gone to the outside for turn one. And Donny, both of them locking up in exactly the same place. And it looks like we're going to have to cut back to this other battle because Ayub's got past. Oh, no, he hasn't.
No, it's not yet. They were side by side, Pete. It's just Kozi had a better braking. He had the slight momentum. Didn't worry about the slipstream as much. I'd say if the 15 and 16 corners don't go well for Kozi this time by, it'll be bye-bye to 7th.
Yeah, Abe's got off again. This is his favourite bit of grass in the entire track. He's been in that grass a lot this race. And yeah, that one's going to cost him some time. We've got Michael Mallet going for it again. Up into the main hairpin at this track, I think it's safe to say, the biggest one. And can he do it here? Donny is not going defensive this time. He's just let Michael have the inside. Michael will brake as late as he dares. Donny is going to try and do it around the outside, but he doesn't have the momentum, and Michael is through into P4. That is great stuff, if he can keep it.
Yeah, big round of applause there. Well done to Michael. Donny's exit into 7. Yeah, we'll take a look at Ricciardo in the pits.
Finally, he's made his stop. We missed him actually pulling in. He didn't do any work. He timed it himself, and he's going to be back out on the track. The gap was 40.9 seconds when he came in, and we will get an update of the actual gap when he crosses the first sector. But Yoni Katila is only rounding the final corner of the lap. So, yeah, that is huge. That is a huge pace differential between those two. He's already in the corkscrew, Owen.
Goodness gracious me. That's got to be 25 seconds.
Close to 20, I think.
In 22.
22. Slap bang in the middle. Yeah, so...
split the difference, exactly.
Exactly, yeah. Michael can be pleased with this. If he can keep this, this will be a great performance. We've loved watching that little fight. And if he can open that gap, then it means that really the only battle we have to focus on till the end is this battle for 6th, which is currently being held by Air Attack's Sean Lee, the number 88, in that bright yellow Air Attack car. Kozi and Ayub are making it quite easy for Sean at the moment, aren't they, Owen? Because they're just, well, they're battling with each other. Maybe this is Kozi's chance to catch up. What do you think?
Yeah, Kozi had a much better lap this time by. The turn 5 loss for Ayub was the difference, I thought. Kozi, if he's feeling racy, he'll definitely go for the attack now. Oh, that's a big leap. He'll be feeling that in the force feedback. But he's so confident in this first sector as well, I think. Yeah, he's got a little bit of time. He could definitely go for Sean. But it's about a second and a half. No, 1.27, yeah. So Kozi really needs a perfect ending to this race to really maximise his day.
Yeah, comparing best lap times between Kozi and Sean. Sean is ever so slightly faster on the ultimate pace, but and I'd also like to say that Sean's tyres are in better nick. So I don't know what it is at this stage of the race, whether Sean's just taking it a bit easy or something, because this gap seems to be coming down. Kozi's tyres are certainly in worse nick, but he's gaining. So let's see, can Kozi start to set faster and faster lap times as the race draws to a close? It's normally the case when the fuel burns off. Some of the drivers are setting some pretty great lap times out there, but we continue to ride on board with Kozi to see if he can close up on Sean. Sean's come from quite a way down this grid, actually. Kozi started around about where he is, but here we go into the final sector of the lap, and at the end of this one it will be 3 to go, Owen.
That's correct, yeah. Kozi, again, he really likes that entry into 16.
Bit unorthodox.
Yeah, I don't know how he executes the move without a handbrake at the very least. But yeah, Ricciardo has now lapped Lorenzo for real now, with the pit stop complete. So that's a tough one to take for Lorenzo, but yeah, he hasn't made Ricciardo's life any more difficult. Just let him by safely and soundly. I don't think the gap's come down enough for Cossie. No, it's still within 1 second.
Yeah, but 0.3 of a second faster that lap for Cozzy, and that may be enough. That may be all he needs if he can get up to the rear of Sean's car by the end. 3 to go. Cozzy with a little bit of a weird turn 1, it has to be said. It wasn't as smooth as he needs. Sean's managed to probably get that time back already.
Yeah, these are the splits we'll be keeping a firm eye on. Again, very smooth by Cossie. But Ayub, he'll be so frustrated. He never found a way past Cossie with his strategy, pitting very early. Oh, it's down to 0.9 of a second. He's gained a little bit more. Rony pits. He's the last who... Yeah, Rony's the last driver who needed to make a mandatory stop. And it was just his tyres that needed to change. Oh, 9.99! Oh, there are no words, Pete.
Oh no!
The rule maker is a rule breaker.
Amazing. I don't know. Of all the times that Ronnie's dished out penalties to drivers, I bet they're going to love that. Anyway, there we are. Rony has gone 1/100th of a second underneath the minimum allowed pit stop time. Incredible.
Yeah, the camera shot of Cossie from above. Still not enough to have Sean Lee in his immediate vicinity, but he's definitely gaining. And we'll get one more split before this lap 32 comes to an end for these drivers. Again,
that's really intimidating, isn't it, when he does that?
The Magny-Cure, that hairpin, you'd see drivers doing that kind of line if they wanted to perform an overtake and intimidate the opposition. In fact, Ayub looks happy now. Ayub is doing well here.
Yeah, any closer and it would be intimidating. He'd be spinning Sean Lee round. That line is certainly not the fastest way around that hairpin, and you can see that by how much Ayub's caught him up in the last couple of corners. Mandula's popped a tyre, so we knew that the RB4 should have managed this duration pretty easily if you look after your fronts, but Mandula, the first casualty of a puncture in this one, and he'll pull in the box with 2 laps to go, and that's a shame. A sad end to his afternoon for sure. But yes, back to Michael, who is running around in P4, and that gap to Donny has opened up to a comfortable level. He'll be quite happy with that, I'm sure. Donny will be a little bit sad maybe that he's not managed to get past. But let's have a look at Ayub. Cozzy, after that Manicure styled hairpin section, has cost himself a load of time, and that's allowed Ayub to slip through. So yeah, he'll be reading from that one.
Yeah, so close yet so far. Ayub now has to put on party mode and just get himself on the move. He doesn't want Cozzy to even have a sniff of this overtake as a counter attack. He's just got to get going and complete the lap and a half that remains.
Yeah, Cozzy won't want to lose any more places. He isn't safe from Fanas behind. Fanas is still there, still lingering in the background as Rick Cardle crosses start-finish to start the final lap, lap 34 here at Aston North in the RB4. And what a race it's been. The gap has come down in the final stint, but it really doesn't matter because it's 20 seconds, Owen.
Always.
Yeah, steady on there, Rick.
Tempting fate, going on 2 wheels in the carousel now. I think he's just having a bit of fun.
He's doing all of the mistakes now when he needs to. Yeah, all of the mistakes coming out when he needs them. On the final lap, he won't care. Just a few corners to go for him, and he will seal the deal. Once again, he won't be able to choose the combination for the next RTFR XL. That honour will go to somebody else, because obviously he's already won so many races this season that he's not allowed to choose the next one. Yoni Katilla may be allowed. We'll have to wait and see. But there we are. That is the gap from P1 to P2. And Unite, I don't know where his pace has gone today. Owen, he's quite a way off.
Yeah, it's going to be a disappointment for Unite. He should be familiar with this or before. Well, I've seen him in the TBO challenge, for example, giving this car its very best. But I suppose that's a sprint format.
Yeah.
Maybe driving these cars for an hour plus is a whole different kettle of fish.
Well, TBO Challenge, the stints are actually longer than today, so yeah.
Yeah, that's
certainly
fair, yeah.
certainly expected him to be longer, but here we go. Michael Malek's going to be pretty happy if he can finish there. Rick Cardle just has one extra car to deal with. That is the car of Jari Kutila, and there he goes to put another lap over. One lap over Jari, and just a couple of corners to go. And take us to the end.
Into corner number 17. Doesn't need to hit the apex at all. Just hugs the understeer as best he can, and now wibble wobble and a drift.
Beautiful.
That's showmanship at its finest. Doesn't dare touch the grass. And there we go, Rick Cardle, the boastful and dominant victory. There we go. Jari just needs to stay behind, so he doesn't need to complete another lap. Yeah. Rick Cardle, absolutely astonishing performance today.
Yeah, great stuff from the Dutch driver. It's going to be quite a wait before we get to anyone else. I've just gone back to this battle. Look at this, Owen. What's happened to Sean in the last lap? He's under threat. Jari Kutila is going to come across the line in second. There he goes. But we're going to stick with this battle because Sean could be under pressure for P6 here. It's going to be Unite to take third, and that's going to happen anytime soon on your timing tower there. But let's keep an eye on this battle. There goes Unite. And here comes
Eoin descend. That was his second last chance. Now it's now or never. Has to stay as far away from the pit wall as he can. He goes outside.
Defensive.
He has
it's going to be a race to the line.
He has the run, Pete.
This is amazing.
I don't think it's enough in equal machinery.
Michael Malek comes home in fourth. Iron Donny fifth. Then it'll be Sean Lee. That was well deserved in the end. In P6, Ayub in P7, Cozzy, after giving it away a tiny bit, you have to say, he'll come across the line in P8. Fadas, and look at that. Normally we're waiting a while, but Rick Cardle, he's done. He's done his job. He's already waiting. He's already on the podium while everybody's finishing. That is insane. That podium for everybody is up the corkscrew after turn one. He's already found it, driven up it, and we've still got people racing to the line. Fadas comes across the line in P9, Redbot in P10. And I think that is, we've got one more driver to cross the line. That'll be Climbs. Although this is Mandula coming across the line after his puncture. Team Eoin came across the line in P11. Mandula P12. And I think this is Zadoris coming across the line. Then we've got Rony himself. And then it will be Climbs. Rony will have a time penalty, of course, after having a pit stop that was too short. But I don't think it might be enough to drop him behind Climbs. We'll have to wait and see. But there we are. Climbs P15, Jari Kutila P16, Lorenzo P17, Oil Burner P18, and we will have some other drivers who are classified in our results. And Owen, do you want to go down those results for us just now?
Yeah, I'll get to that now. And we celebrate Rick Cardle and his dominant performance. An 18-second gap over True Alpha, but maybe that was not as big as it could have been. There is a Sidus car in third place as well. It is Unite to take that position. Michael Malek, best of the rest, in fourth. Iron Donny played a good strategy as well, but it's enough for fifth. And then we have Sean Lee, Ayub, Cossi, Fadas, and Redbot within reach of each other in 6th to 10th places. Team Eoin, Mandula, Zadoris, Rony, Climbs, they are finishers on the lead lap. Jari Kutila, Lorenzo, and Oil Burner were put a lap down. Yerloco and Minve were looking good for a while, but unfortunately DNF'd in 19th and 20th. And for the remaining drivers who did not complete the race, Onifus, Hachiroku, Pavlovsky, and Pit Lane Racer.
Yeah, we're hearing from Tilo Falkenberg that the penalty for Rony, the time penalty, should be 8 seconds. So I think we can work out where that'll put him, actually, just to rub salt in the wound.
Yeah, 2 minute 13 deficit over Rick Cardle, so that will be behind Climbs.
Yeah, and possibly a couple of others, but there we are. Rick Cardle wins. That's his 4th victory this season. That's pretty incredible. The only other victories this season came from Ioni Katila, True Alpha, who in this instance finished 18 seconds behind, even with the amount of showboating that happened on the last lap. So Rick Cardle, very, very, very nice job from him today. So, Owen, that brings to an end the coverage here of Race Green's RTFR XL round 6 of 2021, and it was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was less is more. It was definitely the case of the drivers who took to the track today. I think they were clued in as best they could, but maybe the circumstances knocked a few guys out. They couldn't continue. But yeah, the supremacy from Rick Cardle shone brightest, and then the strategy plays for Michael Malik and Iron Doney. They maximised their results, I have to admit. So well done to them.
Yeah, and also considering that Doney, he pitted very early in the race, that sort of strategy does not normally pay off. It's normally one that you end up getting caught in traffic and all this stuff. But Doney, he played that really well. Michael Malak again, yeah, as you said, really good performance for him, and he'll be very happy to have managed to squeaked past in the dying laps. Another good one for Sean Lee, of course, finishing in P6, and everybody else. I'm sure they enjoyed themselves in the RB4. Maybe not Mandula. Bit of an afternoon to forget maybe for him with that puncture. But anyway, that concludes another round of RTFR XL in LFS. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. You've been watching another sim broadcast here on Twitch and YouTube. You can catch all of the previous races and this one on our YouTube channel. Of course, the full highlights there to watch. And please consider subscribing to that channel if you haven't already, just to get those in your inbox. Thanks again, Owen, for joining me in the commentary box. Thank you, everybody else, for watching, and of course to the drivers who make this grid. All the information about RTFR's series, RTFR XL and the other one, you can find out all about that on the LFS forum in the Race Green events section. We do just have a quick word from Michael Malik. He's just popped into the commentary box at the last moment. Michael, hi.
Hello there.
Hello.
You're lucky I saw you jump in. It was good timing.
I was trying to figure out what's the address.
Oh, okay. You should probably bookmark that in TeamSpeak. Yeah, all the information about that is on our website, of course. But yes, anyway, Michael, that was awesome. How did you enjoy that?
I absolutely loved it. To be honest, this success for me has a little backstory, because 7 years ago, in 2014, there was City Liga race
Yes, there was.
for this exact combo. And I was racing there pretty much solo. Solo entries weren't allowed back then, but I was teamed with my Russian friend who drove the first stint, and then I was sitting in the car for 6.5 hours finishing the race. So I think I had a lot of skill into this race, and it seems to pay off even after all these 7 years. So I'm really delighted with the result.
Yeah, you sound very happy about it. We were commenting on the fact that you managed to get past Doney pretty late in the race. Was that ever in doubt for you? Did you think, oh yeah, I can get him?
I was confident, but not sure. But I was watching the tire temperatures of his and of mine, of course. And I figured out that at some point I should be able to catch him and eventually overtake. In the last 5 laps, I was concerned about my tires in terms of life. I think I was about lap or 2 from popping them, but it worked out, and it's P4 in the end, so it's really nice.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Thanks for jumping in the interview box with us. RTFR XL as a format, do you enjoy these longer races in LFS?
Absolutely, I think this is too short for me. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, congratulations. We did see that Mandula managed to pop a tyre in his RB4, and for once, if I'm allowed to say that, Michael, you didn't do that this time. So you've clearly taken, obviously, that setup from your City Liga success and used it to good effect here today. And you're even using the skin.
yeah, I used the skin from that race.
I
for
see.
the memory.
Vitaly Menekwitov's name on that skin.
Yeah, that was my teammate. I hope he's doing well. If he's watching, hi there. But to be honest, I was using the different set because, of course, after those 7 years, the driving style changes a little bit. So the set was different, the skin was same, and the enjoyment was again the same.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming to have a word with us. We appreciate it as ever for an interview there. So the next combination in 4 weeks is yet to be decided, but we do know what's coming up very shortly in RTFR, the normal series next week. On Tuesday, we have the return of Blackwood to RTFR in the UF1. That will be round 13 of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race 2021, the 257th RTFR. I can't believe that number just keeps climbing and climbing, doesn't it? Will you be there, Michael?
Well, of course I have to beat Kit and Jaroslav like, so count on me.
Of course, you have to be there. Cool. We hope to see you in a fight with those guys as ever. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time, Michael.
Later.
So yeah, Eoin, I think we can sign off again for this broadcast. Michael just squeaking in there just in the nick of time. Great to hear from one of the drivers in the race that we've just been watching. Any final comments, Eoin, before we go off the air?
Sean Lee gave me a little pointer saying he had a great strategy as well, and indeed he did, as he overcut several of his opponents. So well done to him.
Good stuff. Brilliant. I will catch you all on the flip side. This has been another Sim broadcast. I've been Peter Butcher. He's been Eoin Harmon. In our ear, we've had Chris McElroy all evening giving us the updates on what's going on. And thanks again to Tilo for all the stats, and of course to Rony for organising this series. And don't forget, it's also sponsored by World Class Lions. Plenty of money going towards both the RTFR and the RTFR XL. Wouldn't be possible without them. So from all of us here to all of you, good night.
Farewell.